Hey everyone, this is Airbomb, and right now we're going to kick off with the new Fire Cape guide. Now, in this guide, there's actually going to be two videos. One video is going to be on inventory, equipment, and explaining about how certain things work outside of fight caves for preparing. Now, the second video is actually going to be in fight caves where I actually show you how to kill the monsters, healing techniques for Guthans, and then other things such as killing certain monsters with certain methods and how to use safe spots like Italy Rock. So hopefully I'm really going to help you out with this. And in the second video, I also give you some help on Jad too, because I know that he's really hard and most people are coming to the videos to figure out how to kill him. So if you already know your inventory and equipment, you can go ahead and skip over to the second video to learn about killing certain monsters. But if you haven't done fight caves before, I recommend that you watch both videos so that you get a very good understanding on what's going to happen. So good luck, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Oh, wait, I almost forgot.
All right, before we move on, I want to tell you that before you want to rant about my voice or how I pronounce things in RuneScape, like Guthics or Guthans, and you pronounce it Guthics and Guthans, I don't care. You can go take your comments somewhere else because this is a guide. It doesn't matter how I pronounce things. As long as you know what I'm talking about, that's all I care about. So, I mean, if you have some childhood abuse and you're like going around on RuneScape videos trying to take it out saying RuneScape sucks and all this crap, please don't do that. Go punch a trash can for all I care, but I don't need your comments and your rants just because you're mad one day. So, please, just enjoy the video and use the guide to get your fire cape. Alright, now before we do equipment, I'm going to touch up on stats. Now, when I tell you these stats, these are pretty much the lowest stats that I want you to have. So, whenever I say these, I want you to have higher than what I have at least. This is pretty much going to be the lowest. Now, as for range, I want it to be 70. 70 range is very important because pretty much more than half the time in fight caves you're going to be ranging. And as for defense, that's going to be 50. 50 you're going to get hit quite a bit. I would actually recommend that you have higher than that, but lowest possible defense level is 50. Your prayer, 43. I'm hoping that you have more than that, but if you want to, you can attempt it with 43 prayer or higher. And as for hit points, I want it to be 70. You can have lower than 70, but you pretty much want to have a good balance going on because if you're going to be hit and you're going to want to be able to bring up those hit points but not freak out when you go down to 40 or something. And as for attack and strength, well, those are pretty much for whenever you're doing melee such as Guthans or Ceridome and Godsword. If you're not going to be using the Guthans method, then technically you don't need it. Alright, so now that we're moving on to equipment, I want to talk about two methods that is available in fight caves. One method is with Guthans, one method is without Guthans. Guthans is a Barrow's armor that can heal what you hit on a monster back to your hit points at random times. It doesn't do it every time, but it does it every now and then, which can really help. Now, if you're going to be using the Guthans method, then you're going to need to wear the Guthans helm. If you're not, then you're going to want to wear some other helm that has good defense bonus and maybe some good prayer bonus with it too. As for your necklace, you're going to want something like a Ceridome stole, maybe Gothic stole. Gothic Stole is the easiest to obtain and it's probably the cheapest, around maybe 20k. It has great prayer bonus, but the problem is that it requires 60 prayer to wield, so if you want to, you can use an unholy symbol or maybe even a holy symbol. As for what you wear on your back, it's going to be an Ava's accumulator. I'd really recommend that you use this because it's going to pick up all your bolts and it's really going to end up helping. So if you haven't done the quest for it, then do it. I think it's going to be called Animal Magnetism that you do for that. And as for your bolts, you're going to want to use Diamond Bolts Enchanted, or you're going to want to use Broad Tip Bolts. And Broad Tip Bolts require 55 Slayer, but they're really cheap and they're really good. Now, if you're going to use either of these, you're going to want about 1,000 to 1,500 of each, and maybe about 700 at the lowest. These are really going to help, and those are what I recommend. As for your weapon, you're definitely going to want a rune crossbow, nothing else. Maybe if you wanted to, there's another method where you use a Kirill's bow. It hits pretty good and you use bolt racks, but it's a complete waste of money and you can't wear a shield. As for your shield, I'm wearing Dragonfire's shield right now and I know it's really expensive, so you can probably choose something else like an unholy book or a holy book, just anything that's good, maybe even a granite shield. anything that's going to help with defense or maybe even prayer. And as for your top, you're going to want a Kirill's top. You could use a black dragon hide top, but I already had Kirill's, so it's a good thing you can do if you have the money or if you already have it. As for the bottom, you're going to want maybe a Vrax plate skirt. You can also use dragon hide body and legs, but remember that whenever you use those two, you're going to get hit a lot. So you definitely want to have good defense and use these. Vrax plate skirt has good defense and it has good prayer, so that's why I choose it. And as for your boots and your gloves, it doesn't really matter what you use, you just want some good defense with it. I choose dragon boots and Barrow's gloves. You could use cooking gauntlets and climbing boots, anything like that. And as for the ring, most people would recommend Archer's ring whenever they're doing fight caves, but I honestly think that's a complete waste of money. If you already have one or you have the money to do it and you just want to do it, go ahead and buy one. But Explorer's ring is great because it replenishes your run energy and it can really end up helping. So just pretty much choose a ring that you think is best going to help you, and definitely try to be cost effective with this armor, but don't be too cost effective because then you're going to end up losing. And that's very bad because then you're going to have to go back and do it again, and it's going to take a lot of time. Alright, now here we are with the inventory. Now with inventory, you have two methods. You have the Guthans method, and you have the method that's not using Guthans. Now the only difference between those two is that instead of all these Guthans pieces right here, you're going to be replacing that with Ceridolman Brews. Now whenever you go to fight caves, if you have the Guthans, then you're going to be bringing 7 Ceridolman Brews. If you don't, then you're going to be bringing 10 Ceridolman Brews. And next to that, you're going to have 16 Super Restore potions, and you're going to have 1 range potion. Right here are just steel arrows from the accumulator I'm wearing, and right here what you're going to have is an extra spot, so that if you're having Guthan's Spear, you're going to have that extra spot for your shield to go. Now if you're not using Guthans, then you can go ahead and fill in that space with another Ceridolman Brew if you want, because then you're not going to be needing that extra space for whenever you switch. Now for Ceridolman Brews, the cool thing about Ceridolman Brews are that they can boost your defense and hit points, so it's acting like food and a super defense potion. Problem is that once you take a dose of it, it will decrease the majority of your other stats, so that the trick is, once you have taken a dose of Ceridolman Brew, you're going to want to take a dose of the Super Restore Potion also. This is going to level out your stats once again, so that everything is even, but you still have your boost in defense and you still have your boost in hit points. Whenever you do that, try not to make it a habit to do it only whenever you need prayer, because if you're at 50 prayer and your max is 55 prayer and you take a dose of that super restore, it's not going to fill you up as much as it could have if your prayer was lower. So what you want to do is you want to try and make it a balance to where you only heal with the Ceridolman Brews whenever you need prayer, so then that your prayer is going up whenever you use the Ceridolman Brew. Now it may seem challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it's going to get pretty easy. Now as for the ranging potion, whenever you go against Jad, he's going to be hard to hit. So technically you just want that ranging potion to be able to help you with that. Now all these potions are going to be with 4 doses. I don't want 3, you're going to want 4, or else you're probably not going to be able to do it well. So hopefully that's going to help you with your inventory. Alright everyone, well thanks for watching the first half of the video, and hopefully whenever you watch the second half it'll make as much sense as that, or maybe even more sense. Hopefully. Maybe. Yeah, but whenever you go to the second video, remember that this is where you start fight caves, and you might want to pay attention very well because this is where everything gets serious. Now I'm going to teach you Guthan's method and all this other stuff, neat little tricks and safe spots to help you get through it. If you don't understand anything, you can always leave me a comment about the inventory or equipment. If you think I did something wrong, leave a comment about that too. Maybe I can fix it. I'm not going to promise that. Maybe. So, go on to the next video. It may be on the right hand side. It says more info from, it says more info. You click it and the whole list goes down. I'll probably have a link to the second video there. Or you could go to more from Airbomb to the bottom right of this video. And then it's going to have the second part of the guide there if you want to know how to do fight caves. So I hope you had a good time. And please look to the top right of this video. There's a big yellow thing next to my little tag, and it says subscribe. If you want to subscribe, then please do, because I plan on coming out with a lot of guides, and hopefully they're good guides to help you get through these things, and hopefully they are the ultimate guides, because that's what I named them. And hopefully they're helping you as much as I hope they are. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Go on to the second part of the video and figure out how to kill everything else.